We're going to call the meeting to order at 7:09. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioners Gershenson? Here. Gingell?
Absent.
Absent? Oh, okay, thank you.
Absent with notice.
Hoffman? Here. Jackson? Here. Kokendorfer?
Here.
Kowal is excused. Kuhn?
Here.
Long is excused. Loops? Here. Markham? Here. McGilvray?
Here.
Middleton?
Here.
Miller?
Here.
Nelson? Here. Powell?
Here.
Quarles? Spiz?
Here.
Taub is excused. Weipert? Here. Woodward?
Here.
Zach? Here. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And next, I'd like to welcome up the Honorable Janet Jackson to give this evening's invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I want to give a prayer of healing and about healing, because there are a lot of divisions, there's a lot of illness, there are a lot of places where we need to come together. And intercessory prayer is a powerful tool. And tonight I want to intercede on the behalf of our county executive, our communities, our residents, our institutions. Dear God, we confess our need for you today. We need your healing and your grace. We need hope restored. We need to be reminded that you work on behalf of those that you love, constantly, powerfully, and completely. Forgive us for trying to fix our situations all on our own. Forgive us for running all different directions and spinning our wheels to find help when the true help and healing must be found first within you. Forgive us for forgetting how much we need you above everyone and everything else. We come to you and bring you the places where we are hurting. We ask for your healing and grace to cover every broken place, every wound, every illness, every heartache. Thank you that you are able to do far more than we could ever imagine. Thank you for your mighty power that acts on our behalf. We reach out to you and know that you are restoring and redeeming every place of difficulty, every battle for your greater glory. Thank you that you will never waste our pain and suffering. We love you and we need you today. In Jesus' name we pray. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes from our March 14th meeting. Approval moved by Commissioner Miller, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have approval of the agenda. Moved by Commissioner McGilvray, seconded by Commissioner Jackson. All in favor of the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. We have the honor this evening, let's move on to communications. Madam Clerk, do we have any communications this evening?
We do. We have a few. The first is dated March 19th, 2018, regarding the 2017 Local Road Improvement Matching Fund Grant Project. It's the report from the City of Farmington Superintendent Department of Public Works, Charles Udy, who expresses gratitude for the program and submitted his report. The next is dated March 22nd, 2019, from L. Brooks Patterson, Oakland County Executive. Dear Mr. Woodward, please be advised that I have appointed Joe Ellen shortly to the position of Corporation Counsel. I believe her to be an outstanding choice, as the attached resume will reflect. Thank you for bringing this matter before the board for confirmation.
Madam Clerk, we'll refer that to the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee without objection.
Okay. And the third communication is dated April 2nd, 2019, from Chairperson David Woodward to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Ladies and gentlemen, please be advised of the following changes to the Youth Assistance Coordinating Council appointments. Effective immediately, Kristen Nelson will replace Gwen Markham with the term remaining December 31st, 2020. I think that probably needs ending. And that's it.
And communications received without objection. Next up, we have an incredible proclamation to recognize the service of someone who has not only served our county as a whole and his respective community, but also has served as a steward of our road system. If I could ask Commissioners Spiz and Commissioner Gershenson to please come up to the podium to honor our former road commissioner, Eric Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also like to invite any other commissioners that would like to come up. Thank you, everyone, for coming up. I'll start us off. We are honoring Mr. Eric Wilson. Whereas we are all indebted to the dedicated and hardworking individuals such as Eric Wilson, who have committed themselves to improving the quality of life in Oakland County through their exemplary service in the public sector. And whereas Eric Wilson served on the Road Commission for Oakland County Board of Commissioners for 12 years. He was first appointed in 2007 and was reappointed in 2013. Mr. Wilson served as chairman from 2011 to 2012 and from 2017 to 2018. And
during his years of service at the Road Commission, Mr. Wilson supported many important initiatives to improve and enhance the safety of motorists on Oakland County roads. And anybody else like to?
And whereas Mr. Wilson was also instrumental in the RCOC's acquisition of federal road funding dollars from rural road commissions that were not meeting the federal requirements to utilize those dollars, this approached the RCOC to secure an additional road funding dollars at a rate of 75 or 80 cents on the dollar. And maybe at the end of this, he can tell us about that. That was super. If somebody else wants to, whereas.
Whereas outside of his work at the Road Commission, Mr. Wilson is a private practice attorney. He is a Vietnam veteran, former member of this Oakland County Board of Commissioners, and a former member of the Orion Township Board of Trustees.
Whereas we join with his family and friends to thank Eric Wilson for his many years of service, dedication, and commitment to and leadership of the Road Commission for Oakland County. Now therefore, David T. Woodward, Chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, and Board Vice Chairwoman Marcia Gershenson, and Commissioner Michael J. Gingell, together with the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim special commendation to Eric Wilson. We wish him all the best in his future endeavors.
Before I give Eric a chance to talk, does anybody else want to make a comment relative to Eric? Go ahead, Eric.
Well, you know, I heard Commissioner Jackson speak, and I just want to say that was very nice, because when I'm done here, my grandson and I are heading to St. Joe's to see my latest grandson. And he was born yesterday, and so we're on our way over here to visit. His mom and dad are mom's doing fine, baby's doing fine, and dad's doing fine. Dad works for the county, by the way. He works for the sheriff's department as a sergeant, runs training.
So I want to thank the Board of Commissioners for this plaque. Um, You know, we were at a meeting one time, you know, we all go to seminars over the years, and things, and I heard a guy talking, and he was from Kansas. And I said, well, Dennis, what the hell is he talking about? Buying money, selling money, what is he talking about? So I grabbed him, and I said, Dennis, let's talk, Dennis Kohler. I said, Dennis, I told the gentleman, I said, look, we're from Michigan, we're a little slow, so feed that back to me again, so I could understand all this. So what it is that, short and sweet, every county gets money based upon whether you have rural roads or urban roads. And a lot of the rural roads that need repair in the different counties, they cannot meet the federal rules and regulations necessary to accomplish, to spend that money, which is pretty silly, but that's just the way it is. You have to meet those rules and regulations. And it was going to waste. So a program started where we would actually buy it. Let's say they had 300,000, we give them 250,000 for it. We get $250,000 worth of money. They get the use of our 250, and we get the use of the 300,000. And we are already equipped at the Road Commission to be able to handle those type of rules and regulations. So what it allows us to do then, it allowed us, and I'm getting into the weeds here, but I'll tell you, what it allowed us to do is to take care of a lot of rural roads without having, and then that extra money that you didn't spend, you could take care of the urban areas. The urban areas in the southern end of the county where they needed additional funding. So it worked out pretty good. I think a year ago, we bought every dollar that was available in the UP, I think every county. This year, some of the other counties are getting a little wise to us. Now we got to spend 80 cents on the dollar's what I hear, but you know, that's just the way it goes. But that was just an idea that you have. You never know where you're going to come up with ideas when you go to some of these meetings. So once again, I say thank you and have a good meeting. Thank you.
Let's give another round of applause to the service of Eric Wilson. Next up, this is the public comment portion of our meeting. This is the opportunity for everyone who would like to address the board to come before. There's a microphone at the front there. We allow 3 minutes for public comment. We have a sign-in list here. We'll start with this, but if you didn't sign in, we will allow anyone who came from the public to address the commission this evening. So I will try the best to pronounce these names. First, I have Glenda Vidash. And there's a timer up here to help keep track
Okay,
of time.
thank you. Good evening. Again, yes, Glenda Vidash, and I'm the chairperson. I was elected chairperson of the Citizens Advisory Council at I'm a little bit nervous, OCHN, and I've known Lois Schulman here for many, many years, both in my capacity as chairperson and a friend. So I'm connected because my children, my oldest daughter lives with an intellectual disability, and my youngest daughter lives with emotional impairment and mental illness, so I got connected in this manner, and it's people like Lois that are person-centered. She brings so much to the table that I know that I could not take care of in my 2 minutes now that are left. But what I'd like to say is that she has been the board representative, so it's reciprocating information. She brings great questions, great ideas. She brings a fresh perspective to the group and valuable questions, and it's all relevant for the protection of the person served. I would like to understand, and I know that nothing is going to be resolved here this evening, what the review process is for applicants to be on the board, because as chairperson for a very valuable committee in this community, I would have thought that due diligence would have involved some background conversations with persons such as myself that could actually, further legitimize, what Lois does in the community. And since, we're here on her behalf, I have to say that, I've received numerous emails from persons served primarily, stating how they have relied on her over the years. They have relied on her good nature, things that she does, her voice, the way she advocates for persons served, and I think that's most important. I don't want anyone here to ever lose sight of the persons served, because I am a secondary consumer. My children were in the system, they are in the system, and without people advocating for them, people that can't just be me, it needs to be other people within the community, people that have a strong voice. Without this, my children would not have an opportunity of advancement, in their life. So this is what I have to say, on Lois, and I guess, yep, my time is about up. So go Lois, that's what I have to say. Thank you. Thank you all for your time this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Vidash. Next on the list, we have Lois Schulman.
President Kennedy's speech in 1963 called upon Congress to join him in establishing a public mental health system that ensured independence, inclusion, and equality of our most vulnerable citizens. He concluded in part, "We must act to bestow the full benefits of our society on those who suffer from mental disabilities. We must promote to the best of our ability and by all possible and appropriate means the mental and physical health of all our citizens." I believe this plea was not made just to Congress, but to all Americans across our great nation, willing to serve as champions and advocates for others. I am one of those Americans. I have served as the vice chair of the Oakland Community Health Network, OCHN, board for the past 2.5 years, and as the vice president of the Community Mental Health Association of Michigan Executive Board for the past year. I have been nominated without opposition by the various regions across the state of Michigan to serve as president of the Michigan Association. The vote by the Michigan Association Assembly will take place at the spring conference this June 10th. I am only eligible to accept this honor to serve as president of the Michigan Association if I am reappointed to the OCHN board by you here tonight. Since 2008, I've had the distinct honor of serving on the OCHN board, overseeing Oakland County's Community Mental Health Network. I am passionate about listening, hearing, and providing those with developmental disabilities, those with mental illness, and those with substance use disorders the opportunity to experience a life filled with joy and purpose. To bring home my passion, I sought and obtained leadership positions on the Michigan Association Board to be a voice for those receiving services from OCHN. I advocate for local control. I place a high importance on listening to those with lived experience and hearing their concerns. I then bring those voices to enhance the process being discussed by Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, MDHHS, and to our legislatures addressing funding and service delivery challenges. It is crucial that the voices of those we serve here in Oakland are heard as part of the discussion before decisions are made. My vision is to bring our local OCHN voice together with the voices of those throughout the state to speak as one voice to advocate for the safety net we provide for the valued individuals that we serve. OCHN's voice is clear and loud to put people first. OCHN's mission and my passionate mission is to inspire hope, empower people, and strengthen communities. As elected members of the Board of Commissioners, you are directed by Section 212 of the Michigan Mental Health Code to establish a 12-member Community Mental Health Services Board. That board serves in accordance with Section 226 of the Mental Health Code. My current term of appointment expired on March 31st. Tonight I seek your reappointment. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Schulman. Next up, we have Pam Casper.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Pam Casper. I'm one of the constituents of this Oakland County. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit nervous here.
It's okay.
I urge you to reappoint Lois Schulman to the Oakland Community Health Network Board. I'm a member of the Oakland Community Health Network Citizens Advisory Committee. I receive services through CNS Healthcare. Lois has been the board representative for the Citizens Advisory Committee for 7 years. And she truly, as you could hear when she was speaking, she truly values learning about our concerns and issues. She gets our input on various issues and policies. Because Lois listens carefully, the information that she conveys to the other board members has valuable insight. It's important that the OCHN board members understand the need and concerns of the individuals and families who receive services when they're making decisions. For this reason, Lois believes that the CAC monthly meetings are indispensable. Lois is passionate about helping to improve the quality of life for individuals receiving services from Oakland Community Health Network. She believes in empowering people to live self-determined lives. And she believes this to be of the utmost importance. It's in the best interest of people living in Oakland County, the state of Michigan, and especially the individuals receiving services and the families receiving services from Oakland Community Health Network that Lois Schulman be reappointed to the Oakland Community Health Network Board. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. See, next here, did you have remarks on behalf of Anita Warner? Is Anita Warner here?
Yeah, Anita couldn't be here. She didn't have transportation. She sent me an email and would like to read it on her behalf, if that's okay.
I absolutely. And if you want to also submit it for the record afterwards, we'll put it formally into the record.
Lois Schulman has been instrumental in making sure I get the OCHN CAC meetings even when I was no longer a member. She picks up a member down the street from me and calls me in advance to see if I want to ride with them. Lois knows how much it means to me to be an advocate, as well as getting important information from OCHN regarding my mental health and healthcare benefits. Lois and I have become friends over the years. She calls me if she hasn't seen me in a while to make sure I am well. I find her to be a caring and committed OCHN board representative. This proves to me she really cares. Will the next chosen OCHN board member be as caring? Thank you for listening. Anita Warner.
Thank you. If you want to bring that and submit it to the clerk, we'll put those remarks into the record. Thank you, Ms. Casper, for reading those remarks. Next on the list, I have Murray Garchop.
Good evening. Many of you may know, but for full disclosure, I am Lois Schulman's husband. I just was going back and forth about whether to speak or not, and I could not resist letting you know that over the last 6 years that I have known and watched and observed Lois Schulman in her work in community mental health. I have been struck by her commitment, her passion, and indefatigable, continuing week by week, month by month, year by year commitment to Oakland County community mental health. I have also seen her commitment to the Michigan Association of Community Mental Health Boards, where she now serves as vice chair. She would be a tremendous president of that organization as a voice for Oakland County community mental health if you were to choose to re-elect her and reappoint her to the Oakland County Board. Thank you for your consideration and allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Gorchak. That's all that I had signed up on the list. If there's anybody else who would like to come address the board, please, you can line up, and if you can give your name and address so that we can have it down for the record.
Sure. Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman of the Board. Good evening, and good evening to the Board of Commissioners. Jennifer Tomko, you need the full address?
City, or how about city and state?
South Lyon, Michigan. I'm here tonight to thank you in advance for one of the consent agenda items and for your support relative to that. It is the off-road park that is planned for the townships of Groveland and for Holly. The off-road community is very excited about the opening of this park. We appreciate everything that you've done to advance this agenda item and everything that everyone else who has been involved in this has done. It's definitely something that the off-road community is super excited about, and hopefully it'll bring a lot of revenue in for Oakland County as well. So just thank you in advance for the consent agenda item support.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Dubray Newman. I live in Pontiac, Michigan, and I'm here in support of Lois Schulman. Over the years that I've known her, she has been a voice of balance and calmness on that mental health board. She has always advocated for people, people first. She's a person that is a go-getter when it comes to helping people with mental health challenges. And please don't make this partisan or make this a partisan issue, because even though we might vote on different sides of the aisle, Lois has been a friend to the Newman household, and I've watched her work tirelessly to help people with mental health challenges. And she has spent countless hours on the phone with my wife, who's on the board, who isn't going to speak tonight, giving her suggestions on how to better flow on the board and things over the years. So please reconsider Lois Schulman and appointing her to the board, because she is dedicated in all that she does. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Newman. Is there anybody else that would like to speak during public comment? Seeing none, we'll declare public comment closed. Next up is report of standing committees, and that will bring us to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Miller, seconded by Commissioner Weipert, to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on items on the consent agenda? The issue that was mentioned, the new ORV park, is in the consent agenda. All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioners Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson, Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Lubes. Yes. Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell, Quarles, Spiz,
Yes.
Weipert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 17 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Efficient number voting in the affirmative. The consent agenda is adopted. It moves us on to the regular agenda. We have one committee to come before us this evening, and that is, I will call upon the Chair of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee, Commissioner Nancy Quarles, to come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Legislative Affairs, Government Operations Committee has one item come before you tonight, is the report recommending the appointments to the Oakland County Community Health Network. Our recommendations from the Committee for Secondary Consumer, Hadaz Bernard, representative of agencies, occupations, having working involvement with mental health service, Sarah Gupel, I stumble over that all the time. Primary consumer representative, Malachi Newman. General public, John Paul Torres. General public for the remainder of a term ending March 31st, 2021, Judith Summers. Mr. Chair, I move acceptance of the foregoing report.
So we're going to do this in two steps. First, we're going to adopt the report, and then we will adopt the appointment. So there's a motion by Commissioner Quarles, seconded by Commissioner Nelson to adopt the report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Say nay. The report is adopted. Next, we'll need a motion on the appointments as presented. Commissioner Quarles moves the appointments as presented, seconded by Commissioner Miller. And
Mr.
I think we
Chair.
have an amendment by
Yep,
Commissioner Spiz. Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Woodward, or Chairman Woodward. I'd like to make an amendment, or move to make an amendment. I move to appoint Lois Shulman as general public appointee in place of John Paul Torres.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Spiz, seconded by Commissioner Kokendorfer. And per our rules, our amendments are written, they've been submitted, everything has been distributed here. Motion been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Spiz.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. You heard all the discussion for public comment, but I'd like to reiterate, Lois Shulman's experience is unquestionable. Her passion is unquestionable. Her leadership with being vice chair of the Oakland County Community Mental Health Network and being vice chair on the state level is unquestionable. And her respect by her peers in the public is unquestionable. I think it's a mistake for this commission to not reappoint her to the Oakland County Mental Health Network. So I ask you all to please reconsider.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes, thank you very much. Most of you know me. I usually don't ask for too much of anything, but I think we all know that everything in life is about experience and relationships. And some of the commissioners who've been here a fair amount of time, they know that's a fact. If there's an issue with the road commission, they know who to call. If there's an issue with Parks and Rec, they know who to call. And matter of fact, I know that when we all run for re-election, we talk about our experience and the relationships we've made with people. I think it's a mistake if we don't reappoint her. You have somebody with the experience, as Commissioner Spiz says, and the passion, but more importantly, she has the relationship. She's already vice chair of the state committee. She's in line to be the chairperson. And there's so many issues with community mental health that we need somebody that can advocate for Oakland County. And I'm asking all of you to reconsider. No disrespect to anybody else who would have been appointed. I'm sure they're all good. But we have a person who's got experience and who's built those relationships, and I think we should reappoint her. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I'm going to make some, I'd like to speak to this item. I think we are incredibly fortunate to live in a county that has incredible individuals who are committed to serving our community, serving people. particularly those that face challenges as it relates to mental illness, substance abuse, and other things. And I think we had a long list of people who are incredibly qualified. Our problem is that there are never enough slots to accommodate all of those individuals. And the recommendation of the committee that went through a deliberative process made a recommendation that does ensure that we have incredibly experienced individuals that serve, that bring in a tremendous amount of perspectives, different types of perspectives, and to serve the clients that are the direct recipients of these services. And so for that reason, sadly, I will have to oppose this amendment and support the recommendation of the committee. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. This is on the amendment.
Yep, on the amendment. Commissioners Jackson,
No.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Lubes. No. Markham,
No.
McGilvray,
No.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
No.
Nelson,
No.
Powell,
No.
Quarles,
No.
Spiz,
Yes.
Whitebert,
Yes.
Woodward,
No.
Zach,
No.
Gershenson,
No.
Hoffman. Mr. Chair, you have 6 yeas, 11 nays.
An insufficient number voting in the affirmative, the amendment fails. Which brings us back to the original motion to advance the recommendations of the committee. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioners Kokendorfer,
No.
Kuhn,
No.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
No.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell, Quarles,
Yes.
Spiz,
No.
Whitebert,
No.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Hoffman,
No.
Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 11 yeas, 6 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the motion passes and the appointments are confirmed.
That concludes the report of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operation Committee, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Quarles. Seeing no other committees to come before us under the regular agenda portion of the agenda, we move on down to reports of special committees. There are none this evening. Special order of business, there are none. Unfinished business, there are none. And brings us to new and miscellaneous business. And we have Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to introduce a miscellaneous resolution for a tri-party road improvement program for fiscal 2019 for the beautiful community of Rose Township for a road improvement. Thank you very much. I refer to finance.
Or infrastructure. What committee does it go to? Refer to what committee? To economic development and infrastructure. All right. Okay. Referred to without objection. Commissioner
evening, Mr.
Commissioner
Chair.
Whitebert.
I have miscellaneous resolution in Board of Commissioners designation of April as Fair Housing Month in Oakland County. I request suspension of the rules. I make a motion to suspend the rules.
There's a motion by Commissioner Whitebert. Is there a second by Commissioner McGilvray to suspend the rules to recognize April as Fair Housing Month? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. The rules are suspended.
Thank you. I move that miscellaneous resolution designation of April as Fair Housing Month in Oakland County. I'd like to move that.
Moved by Commissioner Whitebert,
Thank you.
seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. Any discussion? Would you like to?
Just briefly, whereas in the month of April 2019 marks the 51st anniversary of the signing of the Federal Fair Housing Law and the Civil Rights Act of 1968, our housing unit at Oakland County does a great job promoting housing. This resolution is timely. I appreciate everybody supporting it. It goes on to say that Whereas the Housing Council of Oakland County Community and Home Improvement Division are experts at fair housing laws and are ready to assist any individual or family and ensure their rights when purchasing or renting a home. Resolved, Oakland County Board of Commissioners celebrate April 2019 at Fair Housing Month in Oakland County. So I'd ask that call the vote.
Is there any further discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay, the resolution designating April as Fair Housing Month in Oakland County. Commissioners Kuhn,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller, Nelson, Powell, Quarles, Spiz,
Yes.
Wypert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach, Gershenson,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 17 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my honor to introduce miscellaneous resolution recognizing Oakland County as a welcoming county. I'll just read a little bit about it. It's affirms that Oakland County is a welcoming county that respects the inherent dignity of all people, and all, including immigrants, are respected and valued and are vital to our shared prosperity, fostering a welcoming environment for all people regardless of race, religion, ethnicity, or place of origin enhances Oakland County for a critical fabric. I refer this to economic growth, infrastructure.
And referred to without objection. And if anyone wants to co-sponsor it, it's up here. I don't know if it's circulated everywhere, so it'll be up at the top of the front here. So
Thank you.
thank you. Commissioner Nelson.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. I'd like to introduce miscellaneous resolution, Board of Commissioners designation of April 2nd, 2019 as Autism Awareness Day here in Oakland County. I'm requesting suspension of the board rules.
Moved by Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Commissioner Wypert to suspend the rules. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The rules are suspended. And motions made by Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Commissioner Miller. Any discussion? We are wearing these pins to pay tribute to Autism Awareness, World Autism Awareness Day, and so thank you for your leadership on this.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yep. On the resolution designating April 2nd as Autism Awareness Day in Oakland County, Commissioners Lubes,
Yes.
Markham, McGilvray, Middleton, Miller, Nelson,
Yes.
Powell, Quarles, Spiz,
Yes.
Wypert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Hoffman, Jackson, Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kuhn.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 17 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted, and we're recognizing today as World Autism Awareness Day. Commissioner Quarles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to introduce miscellaneous resolutions for the Board of Commissioners to delete, create, and reclassify an existing position, and I request suspension of the board rules for immediate consideration.
There's a motion to suspend the rules by Commissioner Quarles, seconded by Commissioner Zach. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nay. The rules are suspended. Motion to advance this proposal by Commissioner Quarles, seconded by Commissioner Zach. Any discussion on the issue? Commissioner
Just
Spiz.
one comment which we've had prior to this is I preferably like to see this pushed off till the next meeting, but understand and the need for bringing it to the floor today. I will be supporting it, but I still believe it should have been pushed off and done at a different time when we have a full board.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay, the resolution delete, create, and reclassify existing positions, Board of Commissioners. Commissioners Markham, McGilvray, Middleton,
No.
Miller, Nelson,
Yes.
Powell, Quarles,
Yes.
Spiz,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Hoffman, Jackson, Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Lubes.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chair, you have 16 yeas, 1 nay.
A sufficient voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Do you have a resolution, or is it? Commissioner, are we on to announcements?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to announcements. Commissioner McGilvery.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two announcements. First of all, on Friday, April 19th at 10 a.m., they'll be having the Great Marshmallow Drop, as we do every year. That's where marshmallows are dropped out of a helicopter. All the kids run out onto the field to pick up their marshmallow, just one. They run and they exchange it for a bag of goodies and candy and stuff like that. We've always held it at Catalpa Oaks, but this year, because those fields are under renovation right now, they've moved the location to Warden Park, which is at Lexington Boulevard and Crooks Road. That's between 13 and 14 Mile on Crooks at the Royal Oak High School. It's right next to it at Warden Park. So be there at 10 or you might miss your marshmallow. And the second one I wanted to mention was I'm setting up a spring cleanup at Red Oaks Nature Center. That'll be held on Saturday, April 27th from 9 a.m. to noon. We just clean up the park, pull all the dead branches out and pull all the invasive species, garlic mustard and whatever else may be there. And I'm going to provide lunch, which is just hot dogs and chips and cookies. So if you get a chance, come on by and give us a hand from 9 to noon, April 27th.
Thank you, Gary. Marshmallows and cleanup. Any other announcements? Seeing none, we will adjourn to April 18th at 9:30 a.m., or I call the chair.